What is up, everybody? It's time to get our draft on. Welcome, Fantasy Endgame community. You know the deal. You've been with us. You're still with us. You're ready to draft. I know some of y'all are waiting patiently or maybe impatiently. Don't worry, big board. We're about to jump in there again. Let's hopefully get all in the same draft. Reminder and also advertisement for those who maybe haven't joined us yet, don't know what we're doing. We're doing a best ball draft for 2025. That's right. You don't have to wait for all of NFL draft and training camp and free. Just draft right now. You can draft a fantasy football team right now. You can draft with us on Underdog. If you haven't tried it yet, join Underdog. Download the app. Go to underdogfantasy.com. Make an account. Use code ENDGAME, and when you do that, you get all sorts of freebies, including a free pick, which you can use for anything. It doesn't have to be NFL. You can do MLB, NBA, whatever you like. I know there's apparently some sort of big golf tournament going on. I don't know much about that. Chris, you can fill me in on it later. Anything you want. Use it, get a free pick, win some money, and then you get bonus cash for whatever you deposit if you use code ENDGAME when you first sign up. But it's time to get our draft on. What is it? Is it, I'm going to guess, is it like the Masters or something going on? What is it?
Yes, it is the Masters, a tradition unlike any other.
I like it. I figure when I start seeing like golf things going on, it's probably the Masters or one of those other big tournaments.
It's the Masters, yes.
Hey, all sorts of picks, I'm assuming, on that too. Do they have drafts for PGA? Can you draft?
I'm sure they definitely do. In fact, I see it right there. PGA, look at that. PGA right here.
Look at that.
Look at that. 3-putt Thursday with the big albatross, the scramble. Oh, yeah, they got everything. Underdog has it all. Whatever you need, whatever you want, Underdog's got it.
There you go. Okay. But you guys are here for the NFL action, obviously. So let's get into it. Those of you on standby, let's do it. So go to drafts, go to the lobby, and then NFL is over there a bit on the right side. Make sure you have 30 seconds per pick. We're doing a live draft, fast draft, and let's enter on 3, 2, 1.
All right, 5 more to start.
All right, I'm sure we'll fill up in no time. And just like that,
we're full. Let's do this.
I love it. I love it when it happens.
All right, let's see what we got in here.
Okay, who? Oh, okay. So I got the 2 again this time. You're at the 5. Not too bad. Have you had the 5th pick yet?
I don't know if I've had the 5th yet, actually.
Yeah, I don't feel like you have. Maybe I know I've gotten 6 and 7. I know I've gotten 4. I don't remember if I've had the 5.
5 will be interesting.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Sportshead is at the 12. Very nice.
That's what I saw.
Caleb
Sammy,
is back.
Yep.
Caleb's been with us the last couple of weeks. He's at the 9 this time.
All right, so he's Vertex. Good to know.
Don't get to snipe anybody directly. Oh wow, I started already. Man, that was quick. Okay. Let me make my pick so I don't time out on the number 2. Although not that I could have a possibly bad pick here.
I was gonna say you got the number 2 pick. It's like probably gonna be Saquon or Bijan or Chase if Chase doesn't go with the 101. But there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Manny in here.
Manny fresh.
And at the 3.
Ray didn't get in. Oh, that's too bad, Ray. Oh, Manny going with JJ. Not a bad pick. I've gotten a lot of Bijan with my top 4 picks, but I don't have too much Saquon because I usually don't have the 1 or 2.
All right. I don't really like Gibbs this early, but I've yet to take Gibbs, so I'm gonna take a chance to get at least 1 share of Gibbs on these things. Even though I feel like this is borderline too early for him.
Yeah. So I even considered, on Fantasy Pros every so often they'll ask, I get the, what's it called, advice requests. They'll do those articles where they'll pull different rankers and asks, pick your biggest bust, pick your biggest sleeper, pick whatever. And so today they sent me one, and I just assumed it was for baseball, right? And so I just looked at it and clicked, and all of a sudden it was like, who's your biggest bust at running back and wide receiver for next year? I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. Why not? I almost, for running back, I almost put Jahmyr Gibbs. I was going to, but I didn't. So I looked a little deeper because I do feel it's too early, but I don't know if I can say he'll bust. Because even if it's like, okay, well, he's like a top 10 running back, not a top 3 running back, but I don't know if that's bust. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not like he's going with the 101. So, I mean, if he's, if he finishes as a running back 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever, yeah, you might wish you had picked somebody else, but you probably wouldn't feel like he was a bust. Like Breece Hall was an early running back bust last year, right?
Well, Breece Hall, let's talk, because it's not a lot going on other than draft rumors of who's meeting with who and who you think is going to draft who. But Breece Hall's been in the news, and not in a good way. Does Aaron Glenn just legitimately hate Breece Hall? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know. Did I see something where like they're thinking about trading him?
That's what it said. Again, who knows if it's just hearsay or what?
I don't know. I don't know. Did Breece Hall do something to Aaron Glenn? Did Breece Hall do something to Aaron? Does Aaron Glenn have a daughter? Did Breece Hall break up with her, break her heart or something? Like what's going on here? Yeah,
it was pretty sudden, because saying, okay, we need a committee, or we need to get the other 2 guys involved, or maybe even, oh, this guy isn't an every down back. All right, that's one thing. But saying like, hey, we need to trade this guy, like, oh, that's something else. That's like another level. Like something. There's some I don't know what it is, some sort of disconnect there, or something he didn't like on tape. I don't know, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I thought Breece Hall might be a good value, and of course now I have to reevaluate that. I'm not avoiding him. Maybe getting traded is good for him if he does go to a good team, but still, you got to be good.
Well, if he gets traded, you got to think it's to a team that needs a running back. The problem is, if you're an NFL team right now, and you have to give up, I don't know what the compensation would be for Breece Hall, maybe like a 4th round, 3rd round pick, something like that. Do you just say, hey, I'll just rather get one of these rookies in the 3rd round?
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good time to be a running back in, either the trade market or free agency. Not that there's many, but yeah, I don't know. So Breece right now, his ADP says 32, but again, this is based on everything that has been going on this offseason. I'm wondering how far he falls here. So I'm not going to take him. I think I'm okay with DJ Moore here.
Yeah, I think DJ Moore is a great value.
JSC is not worried about Gibbs, worried about Monty.
Yeah, I said that last year, and it didn't seem to matter. I don't think it matters. I think Gibbs will be fine, but I think Monty will also be fine. I mean, Gibbs will be better than fine. Even last year, I can't pull the trigger on Tyreek Hill. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have 0 Tyreek Hill this year. Not to mention the cops just got called to his house for another domestic thing. But I think Monty is still going to get his touchdowns. He's still going to get enough run to be annoying if you have Gibbs. Gibbs will still be good, though.
Well, despite Ben Johnson leaving, overall, I still feel like Detroit's offense is going to be pretty much the same, because there are no major changes. And, the OC stepping in is basically just a guy from the system, right? Like a disciple. And they're not going to just all of a sudden change the way they do things, because it worked pretty well. I mean, obviously they didn't get to the Super Bowl like everybody, thought they might, but overall, why would they change it, right? And they got everything in place. So
I don't think
the same.
I don't think Monty's as much of a Ben Johnson guy as much of a Dan Campbell guy. Like, I think Dan Campbell really likes David Montgomery. and he's going to make sure David Montgomery still gets the ball.
And no matter how good a running back looks, even when Monty was out and Gibbs got pretty much all the touches, they don't want that. They don't want a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs to have to go 20 plus touches every game, because that's how running backs get worn down.
So. Right. Yeah, I think Monty will be what he is, right? He'll be fine. But again, like I'm not out on Gibbs or anything.
No, not too worried.
All right, let's go with DJ Moore's teammate.
So just noticing, actually, because you went Gibbs first, but then you went JT also, going double RB.
Yeah, which I normally don't do, but I don't have any JT. I feel like he never falls to me. He fell to me here. I said, let's do it. We'll go double hero RB here. We'll rack up some wide receivers, maybe a QB, and then we'll add some later round running back depth.
Nothing wrong with that. Tempted to overreact to the Tyreek Hill news and take Jalen Waddle too soon?
He's not going to face any discipline.
No, probably not. All right, let's try again. I'm not taking too much McMillan, but I say that is the second time in a row. Yeah, so Scott White on here asking, is this PPR? This is a half PPR, because that's how underdog tournaments all are.
Yes.
Half PPR, 12-team league.
All right, I don't have any Sutton yet. Let's go with Sutton here.
Player I struggle with probably most at this range is Rashee Rice, because sometimes I think this feels good for him, and then sometimes maybe this is too risky, especially with Xavier Worthy really kind of coming on last year at the end of the year, and Hollywood is back, and he didn't really even play last year. So, and I wonder, I don't worry so much, but I kind of, in the back of my mind, wonder, is Pat Mahomes taking a little step back, So I'm not sure. Do you feel like this is about where Rice should go?
It's probably where he should go, but I'll be honest, I also have a hard time pulling the trigger. Again, not only that, he's coming off ACL injury, right?
Yeah, that too.
Major knee injury, so he might start the season very slow, which I know in these tournaments is not as important as the end of the season. Pretty much in any fantasy football format, it's not as important as the end of the season, but you do have to worry about that. Guys coming off major knee injuries don't always have their best year, so yeah, I don't know. It's probably fair for him. You look at the guys around him, right? What do we got? Jennings, Addison, Waddle. I can't say I feel significantly better about those guys than Rashee Rice, so it's probably fair. But yeah, I do have a hard time as well.
Yeah, but to your point, that's the problem here, is you have several receivers who we feel like the last, I think, 2 years we're going to break out and didn't, like Waddle, like Olave. So it's do I put those guys higher or not? Addison, who's never going to be the number one receiver on his own offense. And then we don't really know what the quarterback situation is. Jennings went a little early. I guess a little early. He's not the number one receiver in that offense, whoever it is. So it's hard to say. Going Hero RB. Let's keep it going.
Jerry Jeudy.
Hey. We'll see if it was legit.
Well, we know it's not going to be Jameis Winston. It's not going to be Deshaun Watson. And now I'm actually starting to wonder if it's going to be any of the rookies.
Doesn't sound like it.
It might be Kirk Cousins.
I mean, that's not ideal, but it's not worse than Deshaun Watson.
Well, that is true. Although I don't know, Kirk Cousins was pretty bad last year.
I mean, do you think it's possible that because he was coming back from injury and learning a new offense and all that, I think it's possible that he kind of gets back to maybe not what he was doing in Minnesota, but at least a better level, at least a passable level?
Well, remember, if he does go to Cleveland, he's going to be learning the new offense again. But I mean, he's got to be better than that. If he's not, then he's done, right? It's like, okay, Kirk Cousins is done.
Well,
I mean, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
I think the thing that gives me some confidence, at least in Cleveland receivers, is that they are always under this coaching staff last couple of years so pass heavy, even in neutral situations.
That is true, but it's just very crazy to look at Jerry Jeudy with every QB not named Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really seen anything like it. And not just last year, I mean, his whole career.
Right. Exactly.
Like, terrible with every QB not named Jameis Winston. So, look, maybe if he gets traded to the Giants and Jameis Winston is forced to start, I could be bought back in. I could buy back in on Jerry Jeudy.
So, all right. So, I mean, we don't know. Again, we have no idea what's going to happen in the draft. And Cleveland may or may not take a quarterback. I'm getting the feeling they might not, or maybe not early, but wait around. There's some rumor that they or some other of those teams that are in the very top 10 could like move back and select somebody later, like a Jackson Dart later in the first round. But regardless, you're kind of making it sound like you're just out on Jeudy just because it's not Winston.
Yeah, I'm out on Jeudy because I'm not gonna buy into that 5 or 6 game stretch you had with Jameis last year. And I'm not gonna pay what round is that? Round 6 for Jerry Jeudy. I'd honestly rather just like wait later, get David Njoku at tight end, or even wait really later and just get Cedric Tillman.
I do like Cedric Tillman. That is a good pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is about Jameis Winston, but he is just wherever he's been, whatever team, he is just gold for wide receivers. Fantasy gold for wide receivers.
Well, because he does not care about putting the ball in harm's way. He will just close his eyes and chuck it and give his receivers a chance. At least he doesn't check down. You know what? He doesn't just make the safe play. He'll air it out and for better.
Well,
or
that
worse.
is true. That is true. His passes mostly go to wide receivers.
Mostly.
Not a lot of checkdowns to the running back.
No, I don't think he ever learned that at Florida State, the check down pass.
No.
He doesn't know what a check down is. Okay, quarterbacks are flying off the board. Let's take the stack. Sorry, I think I'm stealing one of your stacks.
No, that's okay. It was between Knicks and Caleb. I went Knicks. I don't have any Knicks. This is a draft where I'm getting a lot of guys I don't have.
Yeah, and I've done this before. This is actually a perfect segue. Hold on, let me Let me make my pick, and then I'll put this up. Oh, wow. I was actually about to take Tyler Warren. Okay, that's fine. I'll wait on tight end.
I think people are going to be very surprised in the NFL draft when Tyler Warren is not the first tight end drafted. Maybe not even the second tight end drafted.
Not even the second. Well, who do you think goes above him? Maybe Loveland and...
Yeah, I think Loveland goes above him.
I mean, I think some people liked Fannin as a prospect, but maybe his workout concerned some people.
Maybe.
A little bit.
I think there's concerns for Warren that are being ignored by. Hold on. All right, let's just grab Andrews here. That are big for NFL teams that are kind of being glossed over by fantasy players, and that's the fact that he cannot block to save his life, and he's not the level of athlete and route runner, in my opinion, as like a Loveland. So I do worry if NFL teams are going to look at him and say, like, okay, he's a good pass catching tight end, but he's a liability in run blocking, so we can't have him out there, on running downs. And they'll just prefer those more traditional. Like I think Loveland's going to be the number one tight end off the board, and then maybe Warren could go too. But it wouldn't shock me if one of the other tight ends went ahead of him.
Well, even so, we said this with Warren. Some people love Warren, and for a fantasy standpoint, I get that with the skill set. But even for a tight end, landing spot matters. I mean, it's got to matter.
Sure.
So it's not so much about who gets taken first or when; it's about where. Everyone assumed, and I kind of did too. I fall into it with Dalton Kincaid. He was the first tight end in his class, and also Buffalo, great dream spot. Not so much. Laporta landed in a much better spot, as it turns out. So,
but it does kind of matter where they. I mean, I know it doesn't really matter for like how many fantasy points they score, but it matters for how people. Like if let's say Loveland is the first tight end off the board, and he goes to like, I don't know, the Chargers or something. People are absolutely going to draft him over Tyler Warren post NFL draft.
Probably.
Right? Like if he goes in the first round and Warren goes like in the middle of the second round or something. It's going to affect the way people value these guys.
Oh, definitely. It always does. Probably too much.
So, yeah.
All right. Backtrack a little bit with the Caleb Williams pick. So I took DJ Moore. You took Rome Odunze. Marvis is saying, if you draft Moore this year, would it be suicide not to draft Odunze? Like you.
Nah, why? You don't have to have both of them. Like I don't think it's like this isn't a situation where it's like it's either DJ Moore is going to be great or Rome Odunze is going to be great, and they can't both coexist. I think they can both be great. What is it like under Ben Johnson? The Lions the last 3 years were like top 8 passing offense every year or something like that. Top 6 passing offense every year. So I certainly think. Hold on. Yeah, I certainly think you can have. Come on, don't time me out. There we go. Like I think you could draft DJ Moore and not get Odunze, or you could not get DJ Moore and still draft Odunze and be okay.
Agree. Definitely agree. What about this? Sportshead, who's in here with us. You think about Brian Robinson, the Commanders possibly taking a running back?
I mean, they might take a running back, but I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's a pressing need for the Commanders. I don't think we're going to see them take. Like, I'd be surprised if they take a running back day one or day two. Like, what picks do they have this year? Yeah, they only have two. They only have number 29 and number 61. They only have two, the first and the second. They don't even have a third. So I'd be very surprised if they use one of those picks on a running back. Now, maybe in the 4th, 5th round, sure. But by the time we get there, is it really a running back that I'm going to be too nervous about? Probably not.
Exactly. Maybe someone to supplement. Someone. You're up. Well, now that I think about it, what's the deal with Austin Eckler? Is he a free agent?
Yeah, I think it was a 1-year deal, right?
I wonder if they're.
No, 2 years, so he's still under contract. So I mean, yeah, I don't think running back is going to be the biggest need for them. They need to improve that defense. The defense wasn't horrible last year, but it's certainly the weakness of the team.
Yeah, and they again, probably what'll happen is they'll get somebody, but later, right? At the end. I mean, they mix and match random guys. Jeremy McNichols, who's been on several teams, was kind of plucked off the practice squad. He filled in, and they were fine with him. Chris Rodriguez. I mean, I don't think, especially with a guy like Debo now there, who can play in the backfield and do some of those things. Yeah, I don't see them saying, what we really need is an RB1, because they're fine. Like, they were fine running the ball. So, B-Rob is not the most exciting for us, but I think for what Washington needs, he served their purposes fine. I don't think they're unhappy with him.
Exactly. I actually do have a video coming out this weekend where I talk about some running backs that I do think are going to get replaced in the NFL draft.
They're, on the one hand, everyone's talking about all the running backs and, starter. I don't think it's going to be as many taken as early as people think or want. Like, we want to believe that all these teams are going to take receivers and running backs, but I really doubt we see that many teams first, second round taking running backs. Like, that's it. You're our guy.
Right. How many NFL drafts have we covered now? And it never. There's a lot of picks. There's a lot of time, especially in round one, when like the teams get like an hour on the clock or whatever the ridiculous amount is, right? Where it's like you have 4 or 5 picks in a row where it's just like defense or O-line.
Pretty much.
So we're sitting there for like 30 minutes just waiting for a fantasy relevant player to get picked. This is interesting. Jalen Coker, Adam Thielen are going back to back. Which Carolina wide receiver do you want?
I know that answer. I mean, look, Thielen's going to be back, but come on. He barely held on to just stay on the field last year.
Yeah, I don't want to do these guys. All right, panic pick Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, running back is getting rough already.
Well, I kind of wish I panic picked Isaac Guerrero just because I do have a lot of McCaffrey.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Guerrero. I'm going to keep taking him. Actually, you know what? Well, I'm not going to say it, but there's a player. I'm just going to take like 3 rounds early just because I never get him. I'm just going to do it this way. You already know, but okay. A hot take. Never afraid of hot takes. JSC. If the Packers draft a wide receiver 1, give me him over. So you're saying like if Ted McMillan or I don't know who would go before him realistically. If he goes to the Packers, which I don't see happening, would you take him over T. Higgins?
Would I? No.
No, I wouldn't.
But hey. All right. That could be. I mean, I certainly think T. Higgins. I've definitely been a big T. Higgins truther through the downs and the ups. But I certainly. Were you going to take R.J. Harvey?
I was, but I told you I should have done it like 3 rounds ago. Again, denied.
But I certainly think T. Higgins is going to disappoint a lot of people this year. I think T. Higgins will be fine. But I don't think we're going to see last year's version of T. Higgins. I don't know if we're going to see last year's version of any of the Bengals, to be honest. That was a historically good year for their offense. But I don't know if I can go so far as to say, like if the Packers draft Luther Burden, I can't draft Luther Burden over T. Higgins or something.
No way. And Jaden, I get Christian Watson won't be there, okay, but how much was he even technically there? When he was there, like they still have Jaden Reed, Wicks. They'll still spread the ball around. That's just what they do.
And I mean, what they really need is that big-bodied wide receiver. And outside of Ted McMillan, which one of these guys fits that mold that's actually good?
Yeah, I mean he's the only one that would make sense for them. But again, I mean, look, this is probably the Packers taking a wide receiver early is more wishful thinking for Packers fans and fantasy football players.
Right.
Like I think they need to address their secondary first. I like that pick. Got a lot of Jalen Noel.
Yeah, I like him. But there's also some red flags. So I think it's going to be really important where he lands.
Are you looking at the quarterback remnants here? What's left to take for my third QB? Shedeur Sanders keeps slipping in these drafts, but also because reportedly he's slipping in the eyes of scouts and whatever. Like, no guarantee he's a top 10 pick. And some people are like, well, he might not even be a first rounder. Of course, we hear this all the time, but when you think that's true?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he doesn't go in the first round.
There's too many QB needy teams.
Yes. I think I said this is before that Raiders signed Geno to an extension. I said, I think the Raiders would be a great spot for him. But now I kind of really hope he goes to the Saints at 9.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Look, he may not be starting week 1 for the Saints, but at some point Derek Carr is going to get benched.
Exactly. It's almost the perfect situation because you can still keep Carr around and have him be the starter and like as your bridge, and then after maybe 2-3 weeks, then just go to Shedeur and let him take the reins.
Exactly.
And that would be a good situation for him because he's got a offensive-minded now coach with Kellen Moore, a former quarterback. Yep. Someone who could help groom him.
Exactly.
All right, let's do it. I need a third quarterback, anyways. I refuse to take Aaron Rodgers. So, it'll be interesting to see where Sanders lands.
It's going to be interesting to see where everybody goes. I can't wait. What are we? Now we're like, 15 days away, 2 weeks away? Cannot wait.
Almost taste it. We're getting there. Finally, some NFL action. All right, let's see. Yeah, Cleveland's a team just all around to be really interesting to see what they do. I mean, the latest rumor says they might go Carter with their first pick. But, I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't go QB.
You almost don't want them to draft a QB, right? Because then, like, okay, well, then you've ruined him.
Yeah. He's already a bust.
I mean, I'm not going to draft any Cleveland rookie quarterback.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about this year, the draft is like, last year you felt pretty good about the QBs. Obviously, Caleb Williams didn't have the best rookie year, but we felt pretty good, right? Like that was going to be Caleb number 1, JD number 2.
Yeah.
This year, it's like, you could go Shedeur, but you don't really feel like you have to, right? Like the Commanders, like the Bears had to go Caleb last year, and the Commanders had to go JD. There were like no other choices, right? Anything else would have been like franchise suicide to not do that, right? Like we're like, no, we're going like best edge rusher or whatever. Like, okay, franchise suicide.
Yeah,
you had to go with those QBs. It doesn't feel like that this year, right? Like this year, it's like I wouldn't even be. I know it sounds like the Titans are going Cam Ward, and they probably should go Cam Ward. But I wouldn't fault them if they did go with Carter and said, you know what? Maybe next year we'll get our QB. Like, I don't think that these guys are like, like those lock. Like like if you're a QB needy team, you have to draft these guys. Like, I think you could punt QB in the draft this year and say, we'll try next year and be okay with it.
Well, and that's, I did see somebody say that some teams are thinking, you know what? Well, okay, I take that back. Not that teams are thinking this, but the thought process from some reporters and, people is thinking that it would make sense for some teams to say, you know what, let's just punt this year. We'll tank and we'll try to get a quarterback next year because maybe Arch Manning comes out. The class is much better overall. And of course, NFL teams don't always think that way, right? Coaches tend to like winning and keeping their job and, not front offices tend to like not, pissing off their fan base by losing the entire season, but still, it's possible. Like some teams just don't reach on a quarterback because they've been burned in the past, like Cleveland. What is up the return? I've got to put this up. Got a super chat from Turd Ferguson.
What's up? What's up, Turd?
What do you think of the Chubb Dowdle combo in Carolina? As a Panthers fan, I'm excited. They could be a dangerous combo. I think you mean Chuba, not Chubb, right?
Yeah, I think it means Chuba. Yeah, I certainly think. I think it hurts both to a little degree. I think for real life purposes, it'll probably be good. But I think for fantasy, it hurts both. And it wouldn't even surprise me, honestly. I thought about putting Chuba Hubbard on the running backs that could get replaced. Because, look, Dave Canales, he likes to run the football. He likes his running backs. And I wouldn't be surprised, for as good as Chuba Hubbard was last year, if a running back that Dave Canales really, really likes falls to him in the draft, I wouldn't be surprised if he drafts one in like round 2, round 3.
Yeah, well, that combo in itself could be very effective. I agree with that. Dowdle was good in Dallas, and Chuba was really good last year. But like you said, they basically have to push reset on the Brooks thing because that looked like a home run pick, and then it's his career may not technically be over, but honestly, it's going to be a pretty hard path to climb.
Right.
So they could get somebody who's maybe a different type of runner, a more physical runner, a bigger back. Davian Martinez in like round 3 or 4 might make sense. It's possible.
Yep. But yeah, you got to feel good as a Panthers fan. You got to feel good. Bryce Young showed signs of life last year. So you got to feel pretty good as a Panthers fan. I think they're still a couple of years away, especially if they don't drastically improve that defense, which I don't know how they're going to drastically improve it at this point. That defense still needs a lot of work.
Right. But at least you finally have some reason to be optimistic. Is this true? Bryce Young, Carolina Reaper?
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't mind it, but it's not as good as the Slim Reaper. Slim Reaper is better.
No, definitely not.
But it's not a bad nickname. It's better than like BY9.
That's definitely true. You can't get worse than that.
BY9.
BY.
That's his jersey number, right? Number 9? Isn't he wearing number 9?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, BY9. It's better. It's certainly way better than BY9.
At least it's an actual name.
Right. At least it's an actual nickname.
All right, last round. And into our last picks. You will not get Trevor Etienne in this draft.
That's fine. I have too much Trevor Etienne. I probably should take. I don't even know. I was going to say a boring vet, but I don't really like any of these boring vets. All right, let's go. I took him last time. I kind of sort of like him. Kind of sort of. Let's see.
All right. I'm always tempted to like mix it up and put, some running back at the last round. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to take these guys who are probably not even going to be in the league. So here's a boring vet.
That's definitely a boring vet.
All right, nothing boring about this draft, though. Got another big board down, and going to review the team. Someone asked earlier, do we grade? No, this is not a full blown mock like we have done and will do, once we get closer to
Right.
the actual season. But we're just going to quickly review our roster so you can know how we kind of decided to build our rosters. Because this is Underdog, this is best ball, so it's a different beast also. Right, here we go. Bo Nix, Gino, and is that Jameis Winston I see?
That's Jameis Winston. I was going to get Russ, but he got sniped. So I said, well, maybe Jameis will get some games in there. He's got that upside at least. I mean, it's not my favorite quarterback room, but it's a room of quarterbacks.
There you go. It is a room of quarterbacks. Got some faith in Bo Nix. But look, Gino will have some spike weeks. Jameis, if he even gives you just a couple of spike weeks at that, almost last round pick, sure. Running back. So you went a couple early, Gibbs and JT. So then you went with Travion, you like him, 3 rookies, and then Benson. So look, if those 2 guys carry their weight, you don't really need to worry about the rest.
Yeah, the hope here, right, is that Gibbs and Taylor carry my team. So, and then hopefully, 1 or 2 of those guys pans out to be something.
So then we got Harrison. I don't feel like you got a lot of Harrison. I don't think I have any hair. Maybe I have one. Odunze, Sutton, got Golden. Well, I got a couple of rookies there. Hollywood, still feel like that's really late for him. Like I like that pick. And then Slayton, of course, the stack with famous Jameis.
I actually took Slayton first. Slayton for the last few years has been one of my favorite late round best ball picks because he has 2 or 3 spike games a year that you get in the last round of your draft.
And that's all you need. Tight end, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, and Gesicki. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good trio.
That is a good trio. I probably could have stopped at 2 tight ends, honestly, but it's fine.
Yeah, so now because these are 20-round drafts, I've gone 3 QB because I haven't taken early QB and 3 tight ends. But QB I went with Caleb, got Stafford, who I feel like is a good value, and Sanders. This, to me, I just kind of grabbed the values here.
Yeah, this is also a room of QBs, but there's some upside there.
with weekly upside. Saquon was my anchor. Connor, solid RB2. I keep falling back to Tank Bigsby just because he's the only one I kind of trust in that range. And then some RBs.
Yeah. Not bad. Solid.
Look,
solid.
If
solid
Brees does get traded, hey, Braylon Allen, give me all the Braylon Allen. JSN, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Ted McMillan, Jerry Jeudy. We talked a lot about Downs and Whittington.
Whittington, even with the Adams signing, interesting.
Well, that's to go with my Stafford and
makes sense.
Late round receiver,
Oh, look at that!
Loveland was my number 1, Strange, and then Juwan Johnson. That is a group of 3 tight ends.
Yes, it is.
Taking a chance with a rookie tight end as my first tight end, but you know what?
Yeah.
You got to mix it up, and that's the name of the game. We don't just do one best ball draft and call it a day. You have to do a few of these, give yourself some different chances, and you never know what's going to pan out. So guess what? We're going to do this again pretty soon. Can we quickly, Sportshead wants to know what we think of his team. He was the 12, right?
Yeah, he's some Samiori.
He says if Tua gets concussed, this team is finished. No, we got Lamar.
Nah, you won't even be finished with Tua. You got Lamar and Bryce. You got Lamar and BY9. Carolina Reaper. Carolina Reaper, you're good there.
You're good at QB. Let's see. Running back. Well, see, if there's a cause for concern for me, it's running back. Because Kamara, I kind of hinted earlier at my RB bust pick. It was Alvin Kamara. Which, look, he'll still do something, but I don't know if I want him as my RB1.
Well, not only that, I think Tracy could certainly get replaced.
Right.
So this running back room could be rough after the NFL draft.
Let's see if wide receiver makes up for you. Got Nico London, Tyreek Hill. Nice. Okay. And
now I see why you're saying if Tua gets concussed because you got Hill and Waddle.
Yes. Okay. Okay, let's just pretend Tyreek Hill is like a model citizen and he loves Miami and doesn't want to leave and like everything is perfect. Are you still taking Hill and Waddle together?
Nah,
I
I can't do it with Tyreek Hill. I can't pull the trigger on him. I still think he's going too early for me. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. It has nothing to do with this. Come on, we know the NFL doesn't care. We know that Miami PD or whoever probably doesn't care. Nobody cares. Sadly.
Yeah.
He looked bad last year, and like guys don't just suddenly like bounce back and get good again in their 30s. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm just very worried that.
Yeah. And I know like some people at MDS saying like 36, that feels late for Tyreek. I mean, look, by the time it's all said and done, that could wind up being a wasted pick, but we'll see.
I mean, you got him 14 picks past his typical ADP. That's always a good thing. It's never a bad thing.
Right. And
the 4 tight end build. This is the room of tight ends.
Yeah, look, okay, so you took the value for Kelce, like, okay, fine. And where he's going is actually kind of quite nice for what you get, but you don't ever need 4 tight ends.
Yeah, like especially these 4. Although I will say I do like Conklin as like a super late round tight end on the Chargers, unless they draft Loveland, of course, or something like that. Then
yeah,
we'll be out on Conklin.
All right. Well, there you go. Thoughts on that team, and appreciate all you. Appreciate it. Thank you, MDS. So, yeah. Oh, there you go. Hit it twice. No, don't hit it twice. If you hit it twice, it unlikes it. Just hit it once.
Exactly. Hit it once.
Just once. Like, subscribe, notifications, because then you'll know exactly when we're drafting again. We'll do it again soon. Check out all the latest videos Chris is putting out for the off season, and we're not that far from the draft, so you can expect some more reaction. And of course, join us. We're going to be breaking down the draft live as we do every single year, so get ready. We'll be with you and break down exactly what it means. So thanks for joining us as always, and we'll see you on the next one.